Welcome back to Self Revelations. It's your boy BDab.
And I am Juan Moreno.
Big shout out to my brother JDab. You know, his Amore brand. You know, he got the t-shirt with the little thing on the back. It's called Interstellar. Y'all tap in with him.
Beautiful.
And shout out to Ninth Wonder, my boy Gio and Brandon. You know, they have their CBDA company. Y'all, you know, tap in with them as well. We got the fruit punch, but they have a grape that just dropped. Y'all definitely got to go get you some. And
I've been using this for, this I think is my second bottle, and it really helps me too because I'm somebody that really does suffer with trying to go to sleep and to shut off the mind because I have a million thoughts going through, and I just had a sometimes a long day at work, or I'm educating myself on my investments or educating myself or reading books and anything in general or what's going on in life. A lot of things are going. So sometimes, even little things like with Ninth Wonder, with the CBDA, it really does help me. It does have a little bit of melatonin in there, which is good for that chemical that helps, influence you to go to sleep. Like when it turns to night, it helps you to relax and shut off the mind. It kind of like registers in the body that, hey, it's time to go to sleep. So that's the one thing I do love about this product, and I'm gonna get more. So I encourage people at least to try it, and it's definitely healthy for you, like CBD, especially if you have anxiety or even try to look at the benefits. There's so many benefits in CBD that could be useful to a lot of people.
Yeah, facts. And I've been telling them I'm gonna get the grape because the grape just dropped yesterday actually. So I want to try that one. I want to try that one. I was I'm gonna put in some Sprite. No, I'm just playing. But no, on a serious note, how you been? How's your mental? I know last week we talked about you're struggling with a few things. So how has everything been with that?
Man, everything has been going great. I've been coming to my own, my realizations and looking at my habits and starting to structure ways of being more productive, but being at peace and not judging myself too much. Because I do have high expectations for myself, but I have to remind myself to, let go of all expectations. Not everything is going to sometimes go the way that you would like, and it's okay. And especially timing, you can't time a lot of things, especially if you want, I have a goal of getting a house with land somewhere here in California, in order to, bring my family something that I could leave behind, pass it down through generations, and, within that land, help my family to be able to not have to worry financially, or especially with the housing, what's going on right now too. It's I want to be able to build something that I can leave for the next generations to come to my family that could pass down, but then also give that security for my family that, my father or my siblings, that they don't have to, worry about getting, kicked out or stuff like that. So I have a lot of expectations, a lot of things that I need to do and I want to do. But sometimes, I judge myself because I'm not there yet. I'm planting seeds for sure. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm always building brick by brick every day. But, especially when times of health scares of your family or somebody that you're trying to do something for, and it's going to take you time to put yourself in position and put them in position to be able to retire early. Sometimes it takes time, and anything can happen. Something can happen, like a health scare, an accident, or death or something could alter that. And sometimes I have to remind myself you want it right now, but it's not going to happen right now. You just have to build and just do the best you can. That's what I have to remind myself is do the best you can. Don't judge yourself too much. It will come, and I just try to focus on manifesting and educating myself. So overall, I'm definitely I'm happy. I'm grateful. I'm content. I'm at peace. I'm just continuously learning about myself to try to, put myself in the best position to also help people. But to keep myself at ease as well. You have to take care of yourself. You can't just be a person that takes care of everybody but not yourself. 'Cause that's how a lot of problems happen, And, that's the worst thing not the worst thing, but I feel it's super important to tap into yourself and sometimes look inward or look at your habits and the patterns of thoughts and how you do things with your relationships and how you treat others and what you really want to portray to people of like love or kindness or happiness, but sometimes we get distracted because of the things that are going on in our life or how people treat you. And so it's kind of like, you know, treat people how you want to be treated, but also treat yourself, you know, take care of you. You know what I mean? Facts.
And I feel you, you know, you when you're saying you want to have this house for your family and stuff like that, you just want to provide, you want to see everybody happy. You know what I mean? Like, cuz it's going to happen for you regardless. You know what I mean? I know you feel the pressure because of, you know, the timing and, you know, stuff that happens within the family, obviously. But, you know, at the end of the day, you want everyone to be happy. You want everyone to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you pushing and grinding. And and I respect that. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, like, you know, you want something to pass down to your kids, you know, your family. You want a good foundation where they can grow and, you know, your son can be better mentally than you were when you were that age. You know what I mean? That's all it's about, like inspiring, you know, your family and having a better platform for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you notice that too. Like a lot of people are like caught up in the rat race of their job and working, you know, making income by, you know, manual labor, because that's all they were taught is to work for your money. It's like, you know, you have to physically be there, time clock, and sometimes you get so caught up in the whole rat race that you forget to take care of yourself, or you keep pushing things to the side because the bills got to be paid mentality. And I always wanted to like give my family the opportunity to be able to not worry about the finances, but to help, you know, take care of themselves, actually, like their mental health and their physical health as well. But if you're so worried about paying the bills and doing, you know, putting the hours in, you will look at cheap ways to satisfy yourself, whether it's like food or alcohol or going out on the weekends to help, you know, make you feel more at ease because of all the hours that you work. That's the one thing I want to do for like my family, is to put them in a position to not worry about finances, but to worry about themselves and help heal themselves and things that they feel that bothers them or doesn't give them the best outcome, to be able to show their appreciation for people or be open about their feelings, to then heal themselves off of, you know, traumatic experiences or what they were taught as, you know, children from their parents that maybe doesn't give a good relationship with me or their kids or their spouse or something like that. Is what I try to do.
Oh, facts. Yeah. So in that aspect, you know, like someone in a job that, you know, they hate and they're feeling like, you know, the drinking and stuff, you know, because I know a lot of people that do it, but, you know, drinking every weekend or maybe, you know, smoking every day or doing whatever they do, you know, overeating or whatever it may be. When it comes to that, you know, numbing it with that is pretty damn, you know, harmful. You know what I mean? That can lead you down a dark path. Long term. And then you're just stuffing stuff down. And then once you're, you know, 42 and you have all these medical problems and medical bills, and you realize, yo, I'm addicted to these things and I'm still unhappy. So the traumas that you have or the stuff that you never talked about, right now, it's just leading you down a path of like, now you're blowing up on people or you're acting out of character because of stuff you never dealt with on your own. Yeah. You know?
And sometimes people default and go towards the ideology from what they heard their parents or what you see in movies, like, you know, this is just who I am. I'm like this, like, you know, take it or leave it. I was born this way. My dad was like this, or I'm like this. My dad's dad was like this. And you got to be careful with that. You know, I don't like to like tell people or push my morale on somebody that, oh, you have to do it this way or my way works, you should do it too. But I think like if you want to get your point across, or if you want to communicate with your family or your friends or your coworkers in a way that they can get a job done, or you want to genuinely help them by providing a different perspective, you have to work around the way you articulate yourself to that person by communication, because sometimes a lot of people feel like they're being judged when you're trying to help them, and your words are sometimes, you know, being put together in a way that is actually judgmental. And from my experience on both ends, I realized that sometimes just people just want to be listened to. And when they were young, they would try to, as a kid, you're so free and you're so kind, loving. Like, kids don't just, turn out to be bad and, angry adults. Like, it all starts like when they were a child. You know what I mean? Like, I had read in the 4 Agreements, they were talking about how, like, there was an example of, there's a daughter that loves to sing. She sings every day, and the mom, encourages her to sing. And one day, the mom had a long day at work. She has a headache. She's stressed out from work. She had tough conflict situations at work, and she goes home. She just wants to sleep. She's so tired. And the same kid is singing, and she tells the kid to stop singing, like, you sound ugly, right? Mm-hmm. And just because of frustration of the mom. And then now what happens a lot to the kids is the kid now registers to herself like, oh, you know what? I sound ugly when I sing. And so she takes that personal and makes an agreement to herself that, you know what? I can't sing because, my mom told me I sound ugly and I don't want to embarrass myself, because she felt, embarrassed at that age. And now for years go by, that girl never sings again because she feels that when she sings, she's ugly, but she might actually have a beautiful voice. So it's like sometimes you have to be really careful on sometimes some of the things that you say, and you do have to be like, which is chapter 1, 4 Agreements, like, be impeccable with your word. Like, don't say anything you don't mean, and be very mindful of what you say, because words have power. Like, words could really influence anybody to do anything, good or bad, depending on how you view it. Look at Hitler.
Yeah.
Hitler, with his words, really put power into his words in a way that was harmful and very catastrophic in what he did. But that's really the power of the word. Like, you could use your words in a powerful way to help influence people in a good way. That's the way I look at it. I don't look at it in a negative way. In a way, it's almost like manipulation, but you can actually help, like, articulate yourself in a way that you can get your message across in the most beneficial way to actually help somebody to do something that you would like them to do, because you see the long-term good in whatever that is.
That's facts. And that speaks so much. That speaks so much volumes, because when you look at that story, because I haven't heard that story before, and that's crazy. Like, just from that one incident that can change that little child's whole life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that have dealt with that, or maybe instead of singing, it was somebody playing sports and they were running around the house, and then their parents snap on them like, hey, like you're like, you'll never make it to the NFL, like, yeah. And now that kid never tried out for sports, never put himself out there to where he can meet those dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy. Like, yeah, you most definitely want to be careful with your words and what you say, and you always want to, I feel like, not influence but motivate people in a way, like, you know what I mean, no matter the age, because you don't know what impact that's going to have on that person.
Have you ever had moments like within like your football career where there was moments that you had doubted whether you wanted to do this, and how important or how sensitive it would have been in those moments where you were maybe questioning or you had any doubts about, continuing to play football, that if somebody was like, you know what, maybe you should quit. I don't know, maybe it's not working out for you. Maybe, look what happened to so-and-so, and this person that went to this high school, and you know what, maybe you're not meant to play football. Do you feel, the question I'm really trying to ask is, like, have you ever been in a situation where you had doubted yourself?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like, and it's never been like my physical ability, because I've always been able to play. You know what I mean? It's never been to a point to where it's like I'm getting tortured. I'm like, oh God, like, damn it, is this what I really want to do? Like, it's never been that point, because I really do love ball. But in an aspect of outside things like coaches, I thought about, if it was worth it for me to keep pursuing my dream, and deal with all this adversity, because at one point it was really, really hard, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard when you give everything you have and then someone tell you like, oh, it's the process. Oh, it's a process. Maybe next week. You might not play this week, but maybe next week, you know. And I dealt with a lot of that my junior season, you know, at Lamar. I dealt with, like, being new out there. I'm dealing with a new environment, dealing with new people, all new people. I went out there without knowing anybody, right? And, building these relationships with people, the people are dope. But you get on the field, you're playing, you're doing everything you can, and it's like the appearance, like it's like the body of, oh, grind, hard work, do your thing. You're gonna get on the field and never getting on the field. That's like working 48 hours a week and then not getting paid. Oh, we'll pay you next week.
Sheesh.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So in that sense, I had doubt of like if I wanted to do this, and I almost left. I almost came back home.
Wow.
It got to that point because I felt like, in a way, I was letting down my own teammates. Because like the coaches, like I respect and love all the coaches I've ever had, but like at the end of the day, fuck that. I'm not playing for them. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing for me and my family, people back home. I'm playing for my teammates because I built those bonds with those dudes, especially when I was a junior, the seniors. Like, I built those bonds with them. So it was like, I felt like I was letting them down by not contributing to the team. And it wasn't by choice. So when I'm sitting on the sideline and we're getting, scored on and they're dogging us, like, I just felt so bad because it's like, fuck, what could I have done? Like, could I have done this better? Like, could I have, like, sucked up to the coach more to get on the field? Could I have, you know what I mean? Maybe if I would have just pressed the issue more, like I could have got on the field. Or maybe if I snapped and then made them get in a position to where they had to play me, maybe that would have been better. But that's where the self-doubt came in, and I was like, maybe this isn't for me because the adversity of, it's not like I'm not doing the right thing, right? Like, it was just the fact of like, it was outside sources, whatever it may be. Like, I was just like, like, I just didn't like the fact of like someone telling me something and then not doing it. Like, oh, we'll pay you Friday. Friday come around. Hey, we got you next week, my guy. You know what I'm saying? And it's so limited. You know what I mean? That's like being on a contract. You're on you're on a 10-week contract. Yeah. And you get paid every Friday. But you keep getting pushed back. Oh, you get paid on the 4th Friday. 5th Friday, you didn't get paid. Nah. Right? So it's just stuff that built up. And, even when I wanted to quit, when everything was against me, bro, I chose not to. Like, and that's why I'm really proud of myself, because I had every single reason to quit. You know what I'm saying?
Why you chose not to?
Bro, it just wasn't in me, bro. Like, I was literally like I talked to my parents. I even talked to the coach, like, yeah, I'm not feeling it, yada yada. Like this is a mistake. This is maybe it wasn't a good decision, yada yada. And I'm sitting in my room, just thinking about everything, and I'm like, damn, like I busted my ass to get out here, took all these classes, got my AS, transferred, came all the way to Texas, like to ride the bench, like. But I'm so glad I didn't, bro. I'm so glad I didn't, because that made me, bro. That was like a make or break point where you can choose to get better or you can choose to get worse, right? In a sense of quitting or keep going. And I just I remember sitting on my bed and I was just thinking, it was like 2:00 at night, and I just was in my thoughts heavy, and I was just like, whatever the fuck happens, like, it's not going to change me. They can sit me for every game for the rest of my career, and I'm still going to bust my ass in the weight room. I'm still going to fucking smack people in the mouth at practice. I'm still going to play hard. That's not going to change how I play. Like, the outcome's not going to change how I prepare. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that was the defining point and why I had a lot of success in my senior season, and, why I'm driving today to play too, because it's like that foundation was set. Like, that was it was set in stone. Like, no, like I knew, like, right then, like, I was like, I'm a dog. I'm going to keep working, and they might not see it now, but they're going to eventually see it. Like, oh, this motherfucker is serious,
Damn, man. It's so critical to, like, have that mindset of keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. That's even like my bio on my Instagram, because there's a lot of things that I felt that I quit And then I look back in retrospect and see, why it worked out the way it worked out. And then sometimes that creates peace with myself because, the certain mindset at that time, you didn't have the tools, you didn't maybe take chances of the opportunity, you didn't see the long-term view of, just do your best, like keep going, like don't quit. And how important it is to have that mindset of, you know what, I'm just going to keep planting these seeds and just keep putting myself in position, just keep trying to do what I feel that I need to do in order to then get that long-term goal or short-term goal to be able to, basically manifest and get to that position that you're kind of like trying for. Then I think about like for you, trying to think.
And one thing that I was gonna say, going back to what I was talking about the things that were going on at that time, like mentally I was at one of my lowest points. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't have any bread. I really things weren't going right in my relationship. Stuff was miscommunicated between, my coaches and everything, and I still chose to grind. So I'm like, damn, if I could do that with a bad mindset,
right?
And, like, I was nowhere near how I think now. You know what I'm saying? I was nowhere near. I'm like, just to think back then, like where I was at, and still choosing to grind and not quit.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I could do whatever I want then. Like, I can do whatever. If I say I can do something, like if I say I can go to the NFL, I believe I can go to the NFL, right? If I say, I can have a business, I can be a successful business owner, I can do a podcast, I can do anything, right? It's just all a mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Also too is like not getting, not chasing that instant gratification, like those instant, that instant feelings of dopamine, because sometimes you have to go through time of, challenging times where you're not seeing no results. It's kind of like working out, right? Like some people try to, lose a certain amount of weight and they'll work out for like a month and they are surprised and kind of like upset that they haven't seen the body that they're aiming for in a month. So it's kind of like sometimes you have to be patient with yourself and let go of any expectations. Like just do your best and try to put yourself, step by step, try to get to that goal. But man, it's hard to see that, long-term reward in the short time because you're so caught up in your thoughts or what you perceive to be in that moment where you don't see what you're trying to reach at that time. Like you see a lot of smoke in your eyes and a lot of things are going on. It's one thing I learned about like my journey is like a lot of the times where I hit a stride or when I achieved a goal or a mindset or a perspective or I attained something, every time I had to conquer something, I had to also be in a spot where you wanted to almost quit or you had like no view of the goal. Like it seemed like almost the goal was getting farther and farther and like less attainable. But that's actually the moment where if you just could get through that first hump, second hump, all these like little humps or like this wall that seems almost impossible to do. Once you get over that part right there, it's like now you can see it, everything. And you're like, oh shit. And like, oh, I could really do this. Like, oh, I can actually, like, I was never really a runner. Now I run like 5 miles a day, which is crazy to me because I never ran and I never thought I could. I'll start running for like the first 8-10 minutes and my body will start aching and I just learned to just run through, identify if I'm in pain, accept it, and it'd be crazy. Like 2 minutes later, after accepting whatever pain I'm feeling, or if I'm running out of breath, or I'm not controlling my breath good enough, the pain subsides, those thoughts subsides, and then you get to like that runner's high. I feel like too, and also it builds confidence. Like going through those times of challenging moments where you feel like it's not working out the way you thought it would. Like it's not looking like looking like the landscape that you were aiming for seems more blurry than ever. And at those moments, it's very critical for you just to keep going and just to realign yourself. But it's hard. That's why you see a lot of people quit a lot of things. Right. And there's been times where I've quit a lot of things too, because I didn't see the bigger picture. I didn't keep the mindset of keep going. Like, you're almost there. Like, you can do this. Like, doing little things like going for a walk or working out or achieving any little type of success to you of troubling moments builds confidence. If you don't have that confidence, like, it's going to be hard to put yourself to that next level.
Cause it's hard. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, bro, and you don't have that, if that internal dialect and for yourself isn't strong, and you can't, hype yourself up, who the fuck else is gonna hype you up? You know what I'm saying? Like, who else is gonna look at you like someone might not see your value. If you don't see your own value, how are they supposed to see it?
100%.
At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta show them. You know what I mean? Because with your actions, with your word, with how you work, you got to show them why you're great. You know what I mean? Because everybody has greatness. It's just how are you gonna exploit your own greatness? How are you gonna show how great you are? You know what I mean? Like, and that's with any facet. You feel me?
Yeah. I do believe like everybody has value. Everybody has something that is effortless to them that seems like work to other people. The hardest thing is to obviously find it, but that's why I always encourage people to, like, try it. Try everything. Like, there's been so many things I've tried and didn't complete, and I would sometimes be hard on myself. I thought I was a quitter, but at the same time I was judging myself on things that I thought that I liked or I thought was a passion, and it wasn't. When something's a passion when it feels like play and you enjoy doing it. And sometimes people haven't found it yet, but you just got to keep doing what you're doing. Just keep trying shit. Keep trying certain, if you like to, customize shoes, try customizing shoes for a few months or a few weeks. And if it doesn't work out and you're not being consistent or you don't like it actually in the long term, then that wasn't it. So try something else. Keep trying. But you can't just quit, because the moment you quit is when you start doubting. When you start doubting, the confidence gets lower and lower and lower. And then here you are depressed. Like, obviously, depression is like more than just one way of like how you can get there, but I think one way that doesn't help is by quitting. Yeah. Like, not necessarily quitting like what you're doing, but quitting the mindset of I gotta keep learning, I gotta keep trying, I gotta just do the things that fascinates you, that you like to do in regards of whatever that is. Yeah. Because, man, there's so many ways that you can build passions from things that you didn't even know you actually genuinely liked. Like, who would have thought that, like doing this podcast feels like play. Like, it doesn't feel like, I don't stress out with this, but I thought that you have to stress out about a certain thing that you would like to do that's a passion. But one thing I learned, like, about doing things that I like to do, I don't ever feel stressed out. Like, when I but that doesn't apply to everybody else. Some people that like that chase sports or stuff like that, like, there's some like mental and physical stress. I do believe there's like good mental and physical stress.
Crazy, bro. I'm telling you, the stress like during games and stuff.
Yeah, see,
crazy. But I like that. It's like pressure. It's like, I love that, bro. I love that. Like knowing you have to make a play or you guys will lose, or knowing like you gotta get a stop or you guys are gonna lose. Or
that's one thing I like about football and sports is like a lot of it's like positioning, like putting yourself in the best position to be, and like that's like so critical. And to put yourself, it's kind of like life too. I look at that like you want to be prepared for the opportunity to come. So it's like do your best to educate yourself and whatever that is to put yourself in that position where you reap the rewards.
And even if like, it's dope because like even if you're down like in life, or compared to the scoreboard, keep grinding, right? And you might pull out a W, you know what I'm saying? Or learning from your lessons. You might learn in sports, you might lose a game, right? And like I said, you can get better or you can get worse, right? If you go and you're like, okay, this is where I messed up. I'm going to study film harder. I'm going to work harder, and I'm going to fix those problems that I had in that game. And the rest of your season successful, you learn from that. But you can be like, oh, we're trash and make excuses and
terrible.
not take accountability for your mistakes, and you can sit there and boo-hoo at the end of the day, and it's just like you wasted all that energy talking about shit that really didn't matter. All you had to do was look in the mirror. You know what I mean?
There you go. And that's the person too. It's you don't ever want to be the person that doesn't take accountability and always pointing a finger at everybody else for the reason why, for your failures or the team's failure or the job or yourself, your life. Like you are the person that is the main character of your story. You actually do control your fate and your manifestation, and your attitude, your word is so powerful. Like you can use your own word against yourself to then not pursue the things that you really want to do or to be successful in your own terms. Like you have to obviously be careful. Don't compare. Like comparing is one of like the things that you don't want to do, because it's like a down slope of thoughts, and you'll be less productive by comparing yourself to other people. But you have to really always remind yourself to, like, you know, do the things that you enjoy, do the things that you love to do, and go through like the trial and error. Like that's why I always like preach and talk about is like, you know, trial and error. Just keep going. Like don't quit. You'll find whatever it is that you need or you're looking for, but you have to be consistent, which is like the hardest thing to do. Like pointing the blame at people and like not taking accountability for the way things worked out causes you to suffer more than to, like, you might feel good because you're like belittling somebody else, or you're putting the fault at somebody else. It might feel good short term, but long term you're gonna suffer. And you will learn faster if you just take the L and be like, you know, I could have done this better. I should have been more conscious of the person's feelings and my words and what I'm saying, or whatever task that you're doing. I should have led this way instead of leading with fear. I should have led with power, and I should have led with clarity instead of leading with some type of fear of failure. Yeah. You got to be, in motivations, you got to kind of be mindful of like how you're motivated too, because a lot of people sometimes are motivated by fear, which, you know, sometimes it works for a lot of people, but it might not work for you. Like what works for somebody else might not work for you. Like find out what works for you.
Facts. Because I know for me personally, I use fear to drive me, you know, like when it comes to the realm of like, you know, physical fitness or, you know, football. Like for football wise, I'll be like, oh, if I mess up right now, I might cost my team the game. I'll let down all the guys, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't want to let down my family in any way, right? Or if I'm lifting, I'll be like, if I don't hit this, I'm going to die. Like, because a lot of the times I work out by myself. So if I'm bench pressing and it's like a certain weight, I know it's crazy to say out loud, but it was at a point to where I was like, I'm either going to hit this weight or I'm going to drop it on my neck. Like, I'm so serious. Like, I'm being dead ass serious. I'm like, it was really that point to where I was like, I'd hit a stalemate, and like I couldn't hit a certain weight. I think it was when I couldn't hit 225 over 3 times or something like that. And I was like, nah, bro, like, because this is the requirement for the league. I was like, bro, I gotta start hitting this. And it was in high school, and I was in my garage, and I was like, okay. And I did like 5-6 sets, and I was like, you know, on this one, bro, if I don't hit it more than 3 times, it's over with. I'm going for that 4th. And I remember just thinking to myself, I'm like, bro, like, that's actually pretty crazy to like think about. Like, bro, that's a maniac.
You're willing to risk yourself to get hurt. But then that's cool too, because then like that's what I'm saying. Like it might work for you, it might not work for somebody else. But like putting yourself in a position where like, hey, if I don't lift this right, or if I don't get this off, put it on the bar, like this could land on my fucking neck or my chest or my face. So that sometimes like that fear of that too, and then also seeing you act like you think you can do it, and then you actually end up, you know, doing that extra rep. Now it builds that confidence, like, oh, I'm there. I can actually do this shit. Like, it's a lot more in my mind, if anything. Like, I got the strength. I just might not have the mindset or the right form or whatever it is I'm doing. Or, like, it actually builds confidence sometimes, like, doing something that you felt that you couldn't do that could have been negative, like, if it would have landed on you. But the fact that it didn't, like, the confidence just leveled up right there.
Literally every time that I've been in a position to where I was, like, thinking, like, am I ready to do this? Like, can I do this? Can I hit this weight? Can I do this? I've always done it or exceeded at doing something. Like, literally every time when it comes to weight or when it comes to, like, performing in like season, I've always done better than I imagined. Like when I manifest stuff or when I'm thinking about something, I've always done better. That's why I'm like, dude, I just like anything I have like doubt or pressure about, I'm like, just fucking do it. Like fucking do it. Even with the podcast, when you first brought it up, I was fucking nervous. I kept mentioning like, oh, I could see you doing that. Yeah. I said it like 10 times, bro. And you're like, you're like, no, we gonna do this. I was like, like, come on, bro. Like,
I felt the same way too. I was like nervous. I was like, man, like, 'cause I was thinking about the judgment in my mind, and I was like, I don't want imposter syndrome. I don't want to seem like I'm pushing my narrative or I sound like a know-it-all, because I don't.
Yeah.
But then I reminded myself, like, you know what, just do the best you can and speak your truth. Like, I'm speaking from a place of my integrity. Like, I'm speaking about my life experiences, what helped me, what I'm still learning, what I'm struggling with, what I'm suffering with. And like, if I just speak from my heart and just move in a place of purpose and love and kind and genuinely want to help people and try my best not to judge people, then I'm fine with every single word that I say. Facts. Like, and that gives me the confidence too, because like I'm talking to you. Like, this whole conversation is I'm talking to you. So, and then to, you know, see the clip. I know we were talking about this earlier before we started recording, but like to see the clip of myself like that we post, or the clip of you, to see that, it's like, holy crap, man, like this is all coming from a place of conversation. Like, we're just having a conversation that we normally have like every other day or every day that we do talk to each other, is like, it's just being recorded.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that makes me more at peace with myself and not judge myself, or not let other people's, you know, ideas fluster me or cause me to, you know, be in a place of putting myself in a downward spiral, or maybe listening too much to the outside noise. It keeps me at peace knowing that I'm coming from a place of like, I'm coming from good intentions, and from me, it's me. It's not nobody else, and I'm still learning. Like, I'm not perfect, nor that's not even the goal. I'm just trying to be the best me possible. So if I'm chasing perfection, I'm chasing myself. Like, I'm just trying to be the best version of me possible.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that, bro.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be anybody. I'm not trying to seek validation from anybody that's outside of the people that have the best intentions for me. Like, if you think this is dope, and like the things that I say, and other people, my friends, family, people that I've met at one occasion at anywhere around the streets, like, I'll talk the same way I'm talking now, and then they would give me like great feedback, and they would, you know, give me compliments and stuff like that. I don't get too high from it either, but I do accept it, and like, oh, that's cool that some of my words have helped people, and my experiences do help people. So that right there is like what keeps me going. I'm not gonna be worried about what fucking Susie009 on fucking Twitter or like any type of comment like that. That shit not gonna bother me, or anybody I might have known in the past that has a perception of me when they knew me in 2013. Like, I'm not worried about that, or anybody's perception, or I'm not seeking validation for nobody, because at the end of the day, I'm not doing it for those people. Like, I'm trying to do it for the people that want to elevate themselves, trying to grow and trying to find themselves, and are trying to do the best what they can, or maybe that they're lost. Like, I'm just trying to show them that even at times of, you know, you being lost, or you hitting a brick wall, or you're not seeing the long term, you know, you're not seeing long term, or you're not seeing in the future, like, there is a way that you can put yourself in that position. And I try to be living proof of like I'm just like you. Like, we're all humans. Like, you know, I'm not better than you. I'm just another light. We're all like lights. It's kind of like when you look at the stars. It's not the you know, the what's it called, like the comet or the meteor that's causing, you know, the light. It's the light of, like, from the star. Like, you have to be. It's like I'm a human. I'm a vessel. Like, I'm a vessel that's a light that tries to help people see their full potential when they can't see it. Like, I like to believe in people more than they believe in themselves, because I remember being in that point where I didn't, you know, see the value that I had, because I was judging myself and comparing myself to everybody else. But then when I started to look inward and started to work on myself to put myself in the best position to help people, I started realizing, like, you start learning too about a lot of people, like a lot of like people you can model, like other people that look just like you, or not even, they don't have to look just like you, that have done and came from things of catastrophic events in their family, or health scares, or diseases, cancers, and all that stuff, that look at life in a huge different perspective, that you found like impossible to see when going through something. It's like that's just so motivating to me when you see somebody with no legs or no arms and they're driving a car. It's like, holy shit, like you can really do anything you put your mind to, and you can really, you know, you can really look at things in a different perspective outside of the norm of, you know, that's contrary to the belief of a negative way that, oh, you can't do that because you have this going on. Or like, fuck that. Nah, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Like, it's your story. You can choose. I could dye my hair red tomorrow and not give a flying fuck because I like it.
Yeah,
like,
facts.
So it's like, oh, that's cool as shit. Like, people can do that. And like seeing that motivates me. So it's like, you know what? I'm just trying to be the best me possible.
No, facts. And go back to what you said, like, you can do whatever you want to. Like me, you know, sitting on the couch the other day, and I'm just scrolling, and I see someone in a wheelchair, fucking shredded, doing muscle up. He doesn't have legs, bro. So the parts of his legs that, you know, part of his leg was amputated, right? So the part that was on his legs, it was strapped to the chair. His waist was strapped to the chair, like this part of his stomach was strapped to the chair, and he was doing a full muscle up. You know what a muscle up is, right? When he lifts up, he's on the pull-up bar and he pulls himself up, and then presses up like this. Shit, he was doing them easily. He did like 8, and I seen it on TikTok, and I'm like, bro, there is no fucking excuse. No, like if someone looks me in the face and tells me like, oh, I can't do that because, or
I can't do a pull-up,
I can't do this, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, is you serious? Like, this nigga ain't got no legs. He's shredded. Like, hey, no excuse why you can't do something because somebody that is in a worse position than you are doing it. You know what I'm saying? You have
to get out your own way.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you just get out your own way, you're going to reap all the benefits possible that you would have thought you would never reach because you don't have that confidence or something. Like, just get out your way. Like, I think that's the problem, though, is because, like, how we were raised. To be honest, a lot of us, majority, were raised like dogs. Like, you were domesticated. Like, you were taught, you know, good boy, bad boy, good girl, bad girl, reward, punishment. If you wash the dishes, you get to watch TV. If you don't wash the dishes, no TV. Like, you kind of got taught that way. And kind of like in school, too, you get taught, like, to get, you got, some people got judged depending on their grades in school, which isn't a good way to judge somebody because you're measuring them off something that they're not really passionate about. They're doing something that they felt they're supposed to do and they're again kind of forced to do. So it's like you want to judge somebody off of their passions. If you say you're passionate about basketball and you're working hard every day and you're grinding, then okay, he's doing what he loves to do. Like, you can, but if you're saying you're like, you can't judge a basketball player on, you know, math. If they don't really like math, but they're a basketball player, you can't say, oh, he lacks poor discipline because he has terrible grades in school. Yeah. It's like, well, he's not really passionate about that, or he don't see it. It's up to him to see, like, or her to see the reason to do whatever they're doing and to make it purposeful and to take it in a way of, you know, like it contributes to themselves in their growth. Like, if they don't see that, and they're not passionate about it, you can't judge them off that. You gotta judge them on what they, you know, really are passionate about.
Yeah, like you know, in the school system alone, I know like at a young age I struggled with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, coming from being homeschooled until I was in 4th grade, like it's hard. Like, and you know, the different types of teachers that were teaching me, like, you know, I'm struggling, whatever it may be. But as time went on, I'm like around 7th, 8th grade, it started clicking because it was like a lot of hands-on stuff. And I learned like, oh, I learn better when I'm doing stuff hands-on, or when I'm able to be creative in a way. Right. And I learned like, oh shoot, like that's like one of my passions. You know, that's something I like. Oh, stuff that is like physically active, like, you know, they can't call me a failure because I can't remember the shit from 1932. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like you said, like, judge someone off of their passions, bro. Like, at the end of the day, like, I know me personally, in the mindset I was in as a younger kid, I'm like, if it ain't got nothing to do with football or anything in that nature, I don't fucking care. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not gonna say I wasn't, you know, fond of history, but like if it wasn't anything in that realm or like physical fitness, like I was just like I just didn't like care to learn it, you know?
Yeah.
And like looking back on it, I never expected to go to college or anything like that. Like I was just thinking I want to play ball. Like I didn't even think that far ahead. I was just like, I want to go to the NFL. Yeah. I like football. That's it. That was it. That was it. You know, but as time goes on, like I expanded from just being the football player and looking at different avenues to, you know, express myself and to be creative. So, but yeah, you can't judge someone just because, oh, they might not be successful or somebody might peak late. You know what I mean? I hate hearing stories about like teachers, you know, talking shit to kids like, you'll never be anything. You'll never be, because that's just showing a reflection of them and how they feel about themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they never was able to fulfill their dreams, and now it feels good to them to be able to tell somebody that, you know? Yeah. And it's just funny when you hear stories about like people getting rich and then going back to those same teachers and being funny. Like, yeah, like Meek Mill, he did that to his teacher. So when he got rich, he went back to his school and like basically like I forgot, I think it was a teacher or some shit. He said, you ain't gonna be shit, like you'll be in jail or dead. And he's like, damn. He like went back like with his like, I think it was his Maybach or some shit. I'm like, bro, flex. That's just wild, like super flex. Super flex. Like how you gonna feel? Like, damn, 20 years ago I told this kid you're gonna be dead or in jail.
And she's still probably driving that fucking 1989 Camry or something. It's no judgment though. No judgment. But I have to remind myself. But then it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, especially for teachers too, how important it is to come from a place of you wanting to help inspire people and help kids, and because you know, like life is not easy, and being in school at a certain age, sometimes you know life gets in the way of school. So it's like I think anybody who looks at what they do on a daily basis as clock in, clock out, this is just a job, get paid for, obviously they're not going to be passionate and they're not going to be positive, and they don't really want the best for people. They're just trying to get by, like that type of shit. Like you got to be careful with choosing your doctors, teachers, school, like anything, because like you want somebody who's passionate about what they do, not looking at it like just a job trying to get you in and out, like because that's not going to help you. And sometimes if you're too vulnerable, you're going to judge yourself off what they say, even though they're not passionate or they're not even there in that moment, because to themselves their life sucks and they're unhappy, so they push that kind of on you and try to, you know, judge you and tell you can't do shit because of their situation in life at that moment, because they didn't, you know, maybe take a chance or a risk on their growth or their things that fulfilled them. They just kind of quote unquote took what they were taught that was success, which is to do a job or go to school and do this. And that's the way, like, oh, you gotta do what you gotta do. And sometimes that's shit that you don't want to do, but you have to do it like you like it. Like, I don't know, you gotta be really careful of like who you listen to and who you talk to and who you know, because every time you listen to somebody, and sometimes you gotta be careful what you agree with in your mind of what somebody else is saying, because you could like, you know, wake up in the morning, have a good day, cut your hair, whatever, you feel great, you feel like, you know, 10 out of 10, and somebody outside tells you you're ugly. And now you feel, and now you listen to them, you're like, you know what, I am ugly. But just earlier you felt like you were a 10 out of 10. So it's like, shit.
It's like, am I ugly?
Yeah, am I ugly? You start questioning, like,
no,
nah.
For real.
I do believe too, man, like, I do believe that everybody is beautiful. Like, I genuinely do agree with that too. I look at myself like I'm beautiful. I have the highest confidence ever. Yeah. You can't stop it. Nobody could. It's too late.
Yeah. It's way too late.
It's too late. This is the foundation is solid, but I think a lot of it helps too, because I do feel like everybody's beautiful. It doesn't mean like, I feel like you don't have to be attracted to somebody to tell that somebody's beautiful, because there is somebody for everybody, and everybody has different, you know, attractions to different amounts of people. Like somebody who you might think is pretty, I might not, you know, be as attracted to, and vice versa. And it goes like that. Like, I really do believe that
someone could be beautiful, like with their soul, like how they treat other people. Like I've seen people that, you know, maybe they aren't attractive, but how kind they are, like genuinely kind, like not like pretending, like genuinely kind, like, and just how they move, you're like, damn, like you have a beautiful soul, like you're actually a dope person, like for real. And there's a lot of people out there that are like that, are just super kind-hearted. That's why, and it's so hard to find, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I see what you've seen this. I'm sure a lot of people have. Like, you see what society quotes as beautiful, and then they have like a terrible like mentality and energy and the complainer and entitlement and all this shit, and you're like, damn. Like, and then you meet somebody else that society tries to put as not the best good looking, and you know, but they have a beautiful personality, a great energy you want to be around. And that's like one thing I look for too, like for like my relationships or people that, you know, has been in my life. Like, it's never really been about looks. It's always been about your energy. Like, how are you? How do you treat people? You know, how do you treat your mom? How do you treat the people around you that's supposedly the closest to you that you love? How do you treat them? Like, because I could give a fuck about how you look. I don't care what you feel you look like and stuff like that, because I do look at people like everybody's beautiful, but like, you know, like, what's your soul? Like, you know, how are you? How do you, what's your view on how, you know, the people closest to you? Do you try to help people, or do you bring them down? Like, that's what I judge off. Like,
are you talking about people like when I first meet you? Are you talking about your people in a bad way?
Yeah.
Like, oh, what you gonna do with me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, man, I don't give a damn about looks. It really is about your soul. Like, what you like. I forgot that Nipsey Hussle, that I think it was called like Perfect 10 on that DJ Mustard. I forgot that song.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the lyrics.
I forgot what he says in that song, but I fucking love it. But that's exactly what I think about too. It's like, it's not about looks at all. It's about what's your integrity. Yeah. Like, you know, do you do things good because people are looking, or do you do things good at all times? Yeah, facts. Like, do you lead by example? Are you genuinely trying to inspire and help people? Are you working on yourself? Are you trying to make the people around you better before you go? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and that you know, kind of ties into like, you know, solidifying your circle, or who are you around? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know 50 Cent's grandpops told him, like, you only gonna get as far as the people you talk to for no reason, right? So I feel like, you know, with your circle and all, you know, you want to have quality people. You know, I talked about this a little bit, like, you know, the last time we was on, last episode. But, you know, you don't want to just associate yourself or just be around anybody. You know what I mean? I know for me personally, it has to be a thing of like, you know, this person has to have value to them. This person has to have a certain level of moral compass. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know, you know, if you're around 10 people that, you know, are fucking alcoholics, you're gonna be the 11th one, right?
Yeah.
So in the same sense, you wanna have that circle. You wanna have that, like, you know, if you're around all millionaires, guess what? Guess what you're gonna be? You know what I'm saying? Or all people with bright minds and who are business owners. You know, you're gonna head in that direction because that's all you're around. Same thing. You got to be around hustlers. You got to be around people that you know, good, kind-hearted people who are genuine. You know, because it's inevitably gonna rub off on you. And you know, it ties in a little bit of trust. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know when I come into like a relationship, whether if it's like friendships or, you know, or anything in that nature, I have a certain level of trust for that person based on what I see. You know what I'm saying? And is it the same for you when you're like, you know, meeting someone new or in relationships? Like, your level of trust, like, how is it for you?
For me, when I think about the word trust, like in relationships, I look back at when I didn't know myself and I had a solid foundation. I think about how vulnerable I was because I would have trust issues. Like, I would not, you know, I had abandonment issues. I had my own traumas that happened in my life. I had family, you know, betray us. I had an example. One time we went to go visit family. We left our home. We had a family living there that ended up robbing us, stealing all of our stuff. And these are people that we let come in because they were having a tough time. Stole the couches, stole the PS2 or PS3 at that time when it had first came out. Like, I haven't had my own family betray me. So when you're a person that, you know, you can't even trust your own family, like, you don't even have a foundation, like, how the hell how are you gonna trust somebody that's outside your family that's supposed to be the people you're supposed to trust? Yeah. So for me, when I think about trust, like, it's so important to have somebody that loves you for you. Like, it's like having a mother that loves you unconditionally. Like, when you have that, you're able to build that trust and you know that feeling. But what if you never had that feeling?
Yeah.
So it makes trust even tougher. Like, you can't trust nobody. Shit, you could barely trust yourself because you judge yourself so much because you don't complete the things that you feel that you want to. And trust, like, I think until, and I had trust issues, man. And I've got to a point where I'm so, you know, in tune with how trust feels now. Like with my lady right now, like she was the first woman to come into my life that taught me what trust feels like. I'm like, oh, this is how it feels like. Because I would, you know, push my habits or my patterns or my assumptions onto her in the beginning of the relationship, you know, because I was used to that. Like, you know, I can't trust you until you prove it to me type of mentality, which is a dangerous game, which never ends. And sometimes you have to let go and just trust. You have to give them the benefit of the doubt and focus on what you have to focus on, which is your life and your health, and stay in your circle of like the things that are very important to you. It's bad to not be able to trust somebody. And with my relationship right now, currently, was the first person I felt genuine love and actually wants the best for me and will be straight up honest with me and doesn't seek pleasures of like instant gratification by chasing attention.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa, like I never experienced something like that, you know, with any woman. And when I had that experience, I was like, oh wow, like this is like I was able to let go now. Like, and this, by the way, I'm 26. Like I just 23 when I was finally able to trust somebody, or 24 maybe, 24 years old, that I was able to trust somebody now. And trust is so huge because it gives you so much like clarity and peace, and you don't have to worry about the other person as much, and your insecurities like kind of like drift off.
Yeah.
And then also it comes with the foundation of, you know, you can't control everybody. You have to be able to experience that person in a relationship, whether marriage or everything's an experience. Like sadness, depression, happy, content, at peace, heart racing, physical activities. Everything in life is like an experience momentarily that you should be all in and just enjoy the moments of being with that person. And to be able to have that trust with somebody in a relationship is one of the best things to have. And sometimes you have to educate yourself too on trust and your insecurities to then build a foundation that's going to work long term. You know, it's not easy to trust somebody if you never had that feeling before. You have to find that person. And I feel like if you get into a relationship that was, you know, you guys loved each other and stuff like that, and the person does something that kind of breaks your trust in that way and you can't trust them no more, I think you should leave immediately. I think there's no point of, now it's very, I don't think there's no point to rehash something if you're never going to trust them again. If your mentality is like, you know, you have to regain my trust back again. Yeah. You're never going to trust them. I think from what I've seen, it never works out, ever, long
Even
term.
if that person is perfect, you're going to still be like,
yeah, you're cheating or whatever.
Nah. This is going too smooth. I know you're doing something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And then you start, you know, doing some shady stuff. You start cheating, or you start, you know, your insecurity drives you to, well, she cheated.
I'm going to cheat before she cheated again. Yeah, that shit is
fucking ridiculous. And I was in that too, man. And trust is like one of the foundations of relationships.
So do you think in relationship wise, you know, do you think, you know, it probably ties in, you know, it does tie into, you know, trust a little bit, not assuming, you know, do you think that not assuming is a big contributor to your success in your relationship?
Definitely, yeah. You do have to give the benefit of doubt and trust the other person and not assume the worst, because they're their own person. They're going to make their best. They're going to make any decision for themselves. You know, they're going to be influenced, you know, obviously we're humans, but they're going to do what's best for them or what's against them that they don't realize yet. Like, they're not impeccable with their word or how they carry themselves. You can only do so much. Like, you can't control everything, and you can't assume, because the word assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. So like, anytime you assume, it never works out well. And, you know, sometimes you think this, but it's not even that. Like, everybody could think about themselves. There's a lot of times where they assume the worst and it was nothing at all. Or you assume that they were doing this. I had a person that I used to work with that thought that their significant other was cheating because they were at home and they didn't answer the phone call. One time, by the way, they didn't answer the phone call one time in the morning, like 2 hours in their shift. And I remember the person just like, I got to go. I'm going to go sneak up on her and check the house and see if she's cheating. And I was just like, I guess. I mean, do what's best for you. I mean, what's going to bring you peace? And she was like, oh, it's because she didn't answer the phone. And I was like at that point, I was like, you got to do what you got to do for yourself, Like, I'm not going to sit here and lecture her, and you got to trust her. I don't know their relationship, and I don't know her. I don't know where she's at mentally and stuff like that. So she ended up going home and to find out that her girlfriend was sleeping.
That's crazy.
And she came back to work, and she was like, she even told me, because she knows how I am and how I talk and what I believe. And she was just like, you know what? Like, I should never assume that. Like, she was literally just sleeping, knocked out, and nothing was going on and stuff like that. And I was like, has she ever cheated on you? She's like, no, but you never know. And then that's like, what? Like, then leave her. Like, you don't want to be in a relationship. I only think you should be in a relationship if you can't, love yourself enough to love other people. Like, you have to learn to let go and like give them the benefit of the doubt. And if you don't trust them because of something that they did, do the best thing for yourself and for that person and leave, because somebody could love them in a way that they can trust them. Like, if they're not, people are gonna, it happens, people, infidelity and stuff like that, cheating and stuff. It's out of your control though. You can't, that's one thing I always find surprising is like, you see those relationships where they try to stop people from cheating. They let me check your phone every day, or like they have a routine, like share your location, or you're always checking their social medias and stuff like that. If a person wants to cheat, they will cheat, and you won't find out at all. And you might catch them slipping, because it's inevitable. It happens if you're not being honest. The truth will always come out. But if you move that way because of jealousy, insecurity, and fear of like the person cheating, you shouldn't be getting into a relationship then.
Yeah. No, facts. Like, and go back to what you said, if it's something they did that why you don't trust them, or it might even be some shit that they've never really settled on their own, like traumas from their childhood. You need to fix that. Like, you don't need to be putting that on somebody else, because at the end of the day, it's not their fucking obligation to help you heal from your childhood dramas. It's not their job to help you heal from your past relationship. You're an adult. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you need to go to counseling, take your ass to counseling. Don't put that on somebody, because then that just trickles down and it's like an avalanche. You give those same anxieties to a person, they're going to give it to somebody else. They might give it to somebody else, and it just trickles down and spreads. And now it's like a whole community of toxic motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, I remember like with my lady in the first beginning couple months, or maybe the year in the relationship, I remember something had happened that my mind kind of triggered, and it brought me back to like an old place of like, oh, I've seen this before, how this works out. And I remember I like questioned her. Like, I was trying to, because it was the beginning of the relationship, so I was trying to like not be like, sound like I'm assuming the worst. But I was like, I asked her a question, and she was like, no, like I forgot what had happened. But I was asking her, I was like, you sure you're not, trying to cover up this? Like, it's all good if you did that. Like, oh, actually, I'm sorry. We weren't even together at this point. We were in the talking stage. And I remember asking my lady now at that time, like, you know what? Like, if you want to mess with other people and stuff like that, like, there's actually no problem with that. Like, if you want to, experience others and you don't want to be tied down, or you're still open, like, that's okay, but I don't want that. You know what I mean? Like, you could go ahead and do your thing. You're not wrong. I'm not going to judge you. You should have fun, whatever that is. And if you want to experience other people, that's cool. And I said all that shit, and she was like, I'm not. And like, I don't have to make up these lies for you. Like, she checked my ego. She's like, why would I make this whole story up? What? Just to lie to you or something? Because you're not all that. And I was like, damn. I was like, shit. It's stuff like that made me really trust her. I was like, damn, like, she literally, I never heard that before. I never heard somebody say, why would I make all this story up just to impress you, or to hide around or sneak up? Like, that's not how I'm built. I don't believe in that. And I was just like, well, shit. Like, at that point, I have to trust what she's saying. There's no proof of her doing something.
All in your head, bro.
It's all in my head.
All in your head.
So it's like, you really got to get out your own way, and you got to let go. You got to trust, give the benefit of the doubt, but put your energy towards you. Figure yourself out. Try to nourish your relationship, nourish yourself, because I say a lot, man, you can't love nobody if you don't love yourself first.
No, that's most definitely facts, But I think that's gonna do it for this episode. You know, I feel like we talked about some good shit. You know, and I really do appreciate all you guys. You know, you guys have been showing nothing but love. You know, we're at 50 subscribers now, so we're pretty juiced about that. 51 to be exact.
51.
And you know, we just want to keep pushing, keep, you know, motivating you guys. You know, even if you're not subscribed and you're just, you know, watching the videos, you know, we appreciate you guys, you know, for, you know, sticking with us. And you know, I think that's gonna be it for episode 5. And I appreciate y'all for tapping in. See y'all next time.
Sheesh.